space in the house.
Perfect. Okay. I think we're live. All right.
Yeah.
Happy Thursday, everyone. I'm Marshall Stern, and I wanted to, first of all, thank you all for coming and checking out this special business interview. I'm going to introduce you shortly to our wonderful guest here, and you're going to make sure you have a pad of paper and pen. And if you have any questions along the journey of this interview, definitely feel free to ask myself or our lovely guest. I do first want to acknowledge that today is National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. So whether, I know there's like a lot of confusion out there for business owners, closed, not closed, stat holiday, not stat holiday. It's not a stat holiday. If you've chosen to close, I acknowledge you for that, and that is amazing. Even if you haven't closed, we as business owners, I think, have a responsibility not just to mourn the loss of the thousands of kids that we lost, but also to bring awareness to really, I think it's an opportunity to bring awareness to all injustice that is happening and has happened, and to make sure, be aware of it, make sure that we don't let these things happen again, and that we as business owners can be kind, can be compassionate, and really be inclusive in our hiring, inclusive with the people we surround ourselves with, and it doesn't matter race, religion, gender, ability, none of it matters. Let's all just be kind, compassionate people, and we can do that through our actions each day, whether it's with our staff, our family, our customers, our vendors, so on and so forth. I don't have an orange shirt, so I threw on my orange jacket, but I do appreciate you guys coming here. And again, if you do have any questions through this, please ask in the comment box. But I want to introduce our special guest, Jenny Randhawa.
Yes, Randhawa.
That's how perfect. Of Blow Dry Bars in Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
I can't really introduce you any better than you introducing yourself and your journey. So Jenny, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my first time, so I'm excited.
This is awesome. You're also a member in the Small Business Owner BC Facebook group, correct?
Yes. Yeah, awesome. I am.
So I guess just a quick little background, like your journey. So tell us about your company, how many locations you currently have, and your journey.
Sure. So I have my background is in healthcare. And I started off as I did my master's in health administration from UBC. So my pre-Blow life was all about project management and working on different special projects for the health authorities. So that was where I was at. But about 7 years into that, I was always looking for a business to own. I was always obsessed with owning a business. My parents are entrepreneurs. My mom's also a nurse. So I felt like I was right in the middle there. And I always just kept my eyes and ears open. I wasn't sure exactly what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to do something. And so one morning before work, I was eating my eggs and I saw the founder of Blow come on Global News. And I happened to know him. We went to UVic together. So I was just curious to see, what he was up to. He was always doing amazing things. So he started talking about Blow, and it just almost hit me like, how simple and easy is this concept? And there was no cutting or coloring involved. It was strictly blowouts, styling, washing hair in about 45 minutes at a very reasonable price. And so that's basically where it started. And I went to work that day. Long story short, I ended up being the top entry, I guess you could say, or applicant out of 50 people that were chosen to basically be the first franchise owner, or at that time partner, they were calling it. So I was the first to be chosen, and I opened my first location in South Surrey in 2010. And then 3 years later, I had a crazy moment of maybe insanity, and I decided to buy 3 more. It was 6 months after I opened my first location. So I basically bought the 3 original blow dry bars in Vancouver, Yaletown, Four Seasons, and South Granville. And so currently I don't own Morgan Crossing or South Surrey anymore. And my Four Seasons location, my other baby, closed in January of 2020 because the hotel was closing itself. So we had no choice but to close down. So now I have 2, Yaletown and South Granville. And so basically we specialize in styling, washing, styling, mostly blowouts, kind of like what I have going on. We do a lot of weddings. We are open as early as 7 a.m. for, the business crowd or the crowd that's going to work, but we're also open as late as 7 o'clock for people going to, dinner or events and things like that. So it's not just meant for a special occasion. Women come to us for, even photo shoots or just to feel good. A lot of women come to us just to feel good. So that's what I have.
Wow. So 2020, you closed down the one. So you have 2 now. How did I imagine the pandemic, the actual lockdown, definitely had a big effect on you because you had to be shut down for a while. So how did you navigate through that?
Yeah, so when we closed the Four Seasons, I was already very scared. I wasn't sure if the clients that we had built up for the last 10 years, whether they would move over to South Granville and Yaletown. So we had spent quite a bit of time at Four Seasons, leading up to the closure date, educating our clients about the other locations and, encouraging to come and making sure they felt comfortable that my staff from Four Seasons were going over. So a lot of lead up to that. And then, for the 2 months that we were open pre-pandemic, we noticed a huge jump in our number of clients at the other 2 locations. But we didn't really get to enjoy it because obviously March 18th, 15th, everything kind of stopped. And so it was a big, huge pause and a time to kind of sit and, just take it all in, basically. So, and that I wasn't scared. I think we had talked about this before, but I almost felt, I know, like I'm very aware of how a lot of business owners did feel at the time. A lot of people were scared and worried. How were they going to kind of get through, this whole new experience? But I think for me, I had been through so many crazy challenges prior to that, so many things that should have shut me down and could have shut me down over the years, that this felt like just another one of those things I had to figure out. So I had felt like I had never had a moment to rest and have a moment of quiet. So I trusted that things were going to work out because they have worked out in the last 10 years, no matter how at the bottom I got. I felt like something was going to work. And, then the government help started coming in, my landlord started cooperating, and my staff was great. So, day by day, we had news that was going to help us.
Yeah. No, it was definitely a difficult time. And I know a lot of people obviously lost their jobs and had to shut down their businesses. But what do you think, because it's such a difficult time and we're still in the pandemic and it's going to be a while, but what do you attribute to your success and not just navigating through this time, but just overall, like navigating through all that you mentioned, you could have been shut down many times in the past 10 years or closed down. Where's the success come from?
So I have thought about that, and all the other times that I should have been shut down, I felt like, no, that is not an option. Like, I'm not even going to think about that. I never had the thought about selling. A lot of people, would say you need to sell, like, this is crazy, you can't keep going through this. But for me, I always had a huge trust in what I was doing and our business. So I think knowing that my business has the potential, and I just had to figure out what that couple issues were basically. So I felt like perseverance. I've always been like that. Since I was young, like in high school, even, I always just kept going, even if I had to take the long way around and do 10 extra things just to get to the same point. It would take somebody, a lot less time. So I just felt like I had the perseverance and I guess resiliency. I don't know. I just feel, I guess, knowing that I've been through so many crazy things, I feel like, yeah, I am strong. I can get through it. I just have to find out what is the issue.
I know we spoke about this last week when we were just one-on-one. What about like your style or you as the business leader for your team? Because it must have been a scary time for them as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so tell a little bit more about that and how you maybe grew through it all.
Right. So, I had my kids like in 2013 and 2016, and even that itself, owning 3 locations is awful. Like it's so hard. And in 2013, when I had my daughter, I was still running all 3 locations by myself. I was the manager of 3 locations. I had 30 people, 35 people constantly messaging me all day. And I was like, I can't even figure out how to nurse my baby. But at the same time, I'm holding interview meetings in my lobby. Like there's something that needs to change. And so at that time, I let that go on for about 1.5 years, and I was making myself sick. I was not being present with my baby, and I actually couldn't even end up nursing her because I was under so much stress. And I always felt very, very guilty about that. But at the same time, I looked at my team and I said, hey, all these, front desk managers have been here for longer than I have. They've been working here before I even bought the business, and now they're 6-7 years in. Why can't they run their locations? And so I got them all together one day and I said, hey, Sam, Sonia, Nicole, you guys are, our clients even more than I do. And you're in bar full time every day. Why not let's work together. Tell me, what do you like to do? Tell me, what part of the business do you enjoy? Tell me what you don't like to do. And so, I had already decided that there were parts of the business that I needed to give up. And so I had made a list. And so while we were talking, I told them what I needed covered. And I basically let them choose out of my list what they would take on. And so that's kind of how the ball started rolling, about like 4 people taking more responsibility, especially when they've been here for so long. And so a lot of them were scared to be managers and leading their teams of, 10, 12 people. But I was there the whole time, so I just basically wanted to pull myself back from the front line and help them be good leaders. And so, they would ask me questions like, well, how do I do this? I don't know how to do this and this and that. So I would actually come up with templates or little plans on, how they would start their role. And then eventually I got to the point where they were improvising and they could take it to the next level. And so that's how the whole, I guess my whole thing about leadership started. It actually started with them. It wasn't really about me. And we grew from there.
Okay. I love that part. It wasn't really about me, because that's what leadership's all about, right? And the fact that, real good leaders develop other leaders. And that's what you said you did here, which is amazing. And that's something that, so if you guys are watching this, whether you have staff or not, there's 2 things that really stuck out in what we've been talking about. One, you've developed, well, it's letting go, right?
Yeah.
You were doing it all.
Yeah. And I was very bad at doing it all.
And most of us are, right?
Yeah.
And then it affects us. It affects us with our life. And you had a baby at the time. So the one thing I would say is, and I do with my coaching clients, is really like bring people on your team. And if you have already people on your, if you have people on your team, empower them, develop them as leaders, because that makes a huge difference, right?
Exactly. And in turn, like when they feel they own part of the business and the success of their bars, they perform a million times better, and they actually do so much more for the clients, and so much more for their teams. And at the end, they're also getting a lot out of it. They're gaining so much confidence. And that's the one thing I love to see. After a few months, even they were so confident in their choices, in their decisions. And even if it wasn't a good choice or a decision, it's okay. I'd rather you make a choice than sit there and not make a choice,
Yeah.
So
that's perfect. Okay, in right here, just in the Facebook group, there's a lot of seasoned business owners, and there's a lot of newer business owners as well. What kind of, whether it's for starting out, newer owners or more experienced, what kind of advice now, like looking back, well, here, I'll put it this way. If you can go back 10 years or 11 years to when you started, what kind of advice that you have now, knowledge that you have now that you wish you had known and had then?
Well, back then I was 28, 29 when I did all this. And I was not at all financially aware of anything, like in terms of, financial statements or, what the numbers mean on it and how it all kind of relates together. I had no idea. And at that time, I'm like, I don't care. I will figure it out and I will make it better than whatever this says. And so that was just such stars in my eyes. And I wish I had taken more time back then to understand what I didn't know about that, because there was a lot that I was taken advantage of at the beginning by a lot of people. So, and that was just because I was naive. So I would say get somebody to help you with knowing your numbers for your business for sure.
Yeah, I love that. Absolutely. Especially there's a lot of people who take a skill set and turn it into their business. Like they leave their job and they turn it into their business. And they don't have that. They don't have that financial awareness. So it's okay. I think what you're saying is it's okay, but then bring someone on, get someone to help you.
Exactly.
What else? Is there anything else that going back?
I mean, I feel like I learned everything through trial and error and a lot of mistakes and a lot of tears. I mean, back then I was a huge introvert. I didn't like to talk much, believe it or not. So leading teams was just so out of the box for me. I had never done it. Prior to that, I was more of an independent, worker. So now going from never leading a single person to literally overnight leading, 40, 50 people. Wow. And them looking at you as, the boss, that was very hard. So I don't even know if you can train for that or how you do that, but
so like the school of hard knocks.
Yeah, you had to. A lot of everything I went to school and I, did finance classes or I did HR classes or, efficiency type classes, but everything that has happened over the years and I've learned has been through literally doing it.
Yeah. Well, that brings up a really good point, because a lot of people start out and there's so many, and I've talked about this many times before, but there's so many experts out there telling you to do this, do that, 6-figure business, 7-figure business, take my course. All, a lot of it, and people, and we're in this, I say to my kids, we're like at this Amazon.now world, right? Yeah. Everybody wants everything now, instant gratification. Yes. And it takes time. It's a process, right?
Yeah, it is. And I try to teach my staff that all the time.
Okay.
And for example, we do our blowouts. That's our main service. We have different services, but we also have a lot of other great options for clients. For example, our add-on services, which a lot of our clients didn't know about before. And, women would come in with extremely dry hair, or, the color in their hair was fading, or it didn't look as, bright or dull anymore, as it did when they first got it done. Or their hair was just very damaged. And we have treatments for all of those things. And instead of them going to, booking an appointment at their hairdresser to get a treatment, well, we can do that for you, and not that, you shouldn't go there. It's just a lot of the times full service salons would rather cut and color, right? And so we weren't doing any of these services for a long time. And my team was like, well, what, like, it takes extra time. What are we going to get? This and that, And so I did have to come up with an incentive plan. But what happened back then, like maybe even 4 years ago, say we were only doing only 2 or 3% of the clients would do these services. And then once we, started the incentives, like, I just want you to talk about it. Like, I just want you to tell a client who has damaged hair that we can help you fix it, And so once they started doing it, we are now, to this day, up to about 40%. So it did take time, and they didn't see the value of it in the beginning. But over time, they started seeing the difference, because clients would now start booking those on their own rather than them having to talk about it. Right. So yeah, it takes time. Everything takes time. And now they see the value of it, and they see it.
Okay. So for people watching, it takes time. Is there some sort of, there's no secret sauce to this. We talked a lot about leadership. I love your story about perseverance and resilience. I think that's so underrated, honestly. Advice. Okay. So someone is right now, let's say, whether they have staff or they don't, struggling to grow their business. What kind of advice would you give them? It's a big question. I know I'm putting it out there for you. It's not an easy answer, right?
Well, I know when I've had questions in the past, or just not knowing which direction to go in, or been worried even, I've turned to people, and whether they're, actual coaches or mentors, or just women in my business community. So I'm very fortunate. I have a few people that I can go to without, it being so formal, because I'm pretty informal, but I like to just be able to call quickly or text and be like, hey, like, this is my situation, or I'm feeling very frustrated about this, or, what can you suggest? And so I do have people that I can go to. I also, at one point a few years ago, joined this app, new app. It was actually built by the founder of Blow, Devin Brooks, and it's called Sphere. And so they have basically coaches and mentors for every area of your life that you can imagine, whether it's business or, life or relationships or training, like fitness training, anything, any kind of coach that you're looking for. And so basically I had signed up on there, and it was just nice for me to talk about my business, talk about my worries. And in that case, it was more that I just wanted to talk about it, rather than looking for, can you just tell me what to do? I didn't want to hear that. I just wanted to basically be a place to vent, but they were very great, because they would kind of, tell me what my strengths were, and kind of encourage me, and, kind of get me my mentally back into place. So that was good. And I honestly, I read a lot, or listen to a lot of podcasts on mindset, and less stress in your life, like managing that stress, because as entrepreneurs, we're so stressed out.
Yeah.
So that was a huge thing for me. And there was this other one podcast that I loved that just gives you like that oomph or inspiration. It's called How I Built This
Oh, yes.
by Guy Raz. I don't know.
Raz, yeah.
Yeah, I love
Really good.
that. And I've probably listened to everything. So it's just been little things along the way that has helped me, whether I've been wanting it more for personal reasons or for my business, just kind of get me back like in a focused place.
Perfect. Yeah,
Mhm.
awesome. So it's really all about, and I preach about it, and that's what this group is all about, right? It's all
Mhm.
about surrounding yourselves with other business owners and having
Mhm.
a bit of a support group, right? Because let's face
Yeah.
it, we're all alone in our business. I know you're part of a
Mhm.
franchise organization, but you're really still
Mhm.
all alone in your business.
Yeah. Mhm.
And unless you're friends, or if you have a significant other, if they're in business for themselves,
Yeah.
that's great. But if not, they don't get it. Like people
No.
who work in a company don't understand what we go through.
No.
So it's good to be around people like us and in the group, and
Yes.
your inner circle, right?
Yes,
Building
exactly.
building an inner circle. So that's awesome. Okay, so in closing, this has really been awesome. If people want to reach out to you, how can
Mhm.
they do that? How can they find you?
Well, my email is probably the best way. I yeah, email I would say would be the best way. I don't know if you wanted to share it or I can share it.
I can
You can
if I
post
can
it
put
later.
Yeah, I could put it into the comment section
Yeah.
if you're good
Yeah.
with that.
And then if you like to see what we do on a day-to-day, you can check out our Instagram too. It's Blow Vancouver,
Okay.
BLO, no W, Blow Vancouver. And I don't show myself on there too much. I'm still haven't gotten there yet, but yeah, that's our business there.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Any closing words of advice for budding entrepreneurs?
Um, well, I know for me, like for everybody, in business, like stress is such a huge piece of it. And when you're stressed out, yes, sometimes you come up with great ideas and you come up with ideas just because your back's against the wall and you have no choice. But there's other times where you really need to take care of yourself and find a way to find that quiet space. So having a routine every morning, whether you have 10 meetings coming up or one, or you have so many things to do. Like I have found, especially in the last year and a half, um, that you need that quiet time. And that's when your ideas really flow. That's how you kind of think about things, on how to make your business grow or be more efficient, or, help your clients more, whatever it is. So find a way to take care of yourself every day. Obviously, I think I go for walks every day and I try to get my sleep in. And those are the two key things for me. And the other thing I say is get Asana. Asana is the
Ah,
app. All of us have 1,000 little to-do lists in our head and probably on our phones in the notepad,
yeah.
and or carrying around books or whatever. In Asana, I've made like little projects for each area of my life. And anytime I have a thought or thing I want to keep track of, whether I want to listen to this podcast or I need to get something for my kids or drop something off at Self Gravel, I just stick it in there so that it is out of my head and my head's clear. So,
That's awesome. I thought at first you said a sauna, like getting a
oh
sauna.
yeah,
So
well, that would be good too.
that'd be good.
Yeah.
I suggest a hot tub
Yeah.
to de-stress.
Yeah.
But yeah, Asana as well, for sure.
Asana. Yeah.
Yeah, Asana. Jenny, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
This has
It
been
was
awesome.
fun.
If you're watching this live or now, because it's about to be over, the recording of this, get your questions in there. We can answer them at any time. Just ask questions. This is what this group is all about. All right. Have an amazing day, everyone. And be safe, be kind, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.